can't imagine Genda Fool or Namak Ishqa in any other voice except hers. Husky, sensual, powerful, and unique. Her voice is her signature. On my show today, we have none other than the versatile and the beautiful Rekha Bharadwaj. Welcome to the show, ma'am. On my show is the lovely Rekha ji, and what a beautiful color she's wearing.
Thank
It's
you.
such a, and it becomes her. And there are lotuses there. There is this Banarasi. I can see a part of it, and the jewelry is
Thank you.
just exquisite. It's soft as well as strong. So tell me what it is.
So this was done specially for today's show,
Yeah.
and this is from Astitva. It's a store in Mumbai, and Nirali Bhatt and Rajiv Bhatt are the designer and owner of this boutique, and they have beautiful jewelry and dresses. So this was supposed to be this was actually a dress which I saw in her boutique, and a plain dress. So Shama was there with me, and we decided to have it, like I said, make it longer with little more flair.
So that.
And that's how they put this Banarsi to make it
Oh,
little, showy for stage. And then this jewelry, beautiful jewelry. Like I
Yeah.
tell her, कि हम बर्बाद हो जाते हैं वहाँ जाके. Every time I go that day, I went to collect this, and I ended up buying more jewelry other than this.
And the nose ring is also.
Yeah, nose ring is also. She forced me to wear the big one, and I'm really enjoying it now.
It's just looking so
Yeah,
beautiful
so I
together.
felt this is more me.
Yes. And
Thank you.
do you have a collection like this? आपको पसंद है ये सारा?
Jewelry, yeah, I keep
Yeah.
buying, matlab, and saris.
Oh my
In
God.
fact, I wanted to ask you, so do you get your saris from here? Do you visit
I
India
go to
especially
India.
to buy your
I
saris?
go to India to buy saris. I collect
Because I
them.
follow you and I see you wear lovely saris.
Thank you. I just it's an obsession.
I know.
It is a good obsession. I
I
think.
think so.
And it's very. It's a every day is like a. The sari comes to you.
Yeah.
Choose those colors.
True.
So yeah, so I enjoy it. Thank you very much. I mean, we are connected on Facebook, which is
Yes.
why you've seen the sarees, and I'm very happy that you have seen them. So also with music and your association and so much. I mean, we love what you do.
Thank you.
But I remember in one of the interviews that you've mentioned that you always thought that you were some soul which was very sad in the last birth.
Yeah, not sad in the last birth. I would say that melancholy is from lifetimes.
Yeah.
And I realize now that we all long.
Yeah.
That's a longing, which makes us sad, or especially when it's that dusk time in the evening. That's the time when you see sun setting. That's the time I think everyone feels bit low without knowing the reason. And everyone tries to get out of home, go for,
We fill that
meet.
time.
Yeah. And once you realize what it is, then I think you start filling it with like your karma or your thing or whatever you
Your art,
like
it
to
could
do.
be anything.
Yeah. So, and that's what starts that journey towards that divine God or the source we come from. So I think that's what I've been doing, and I feel कि वो पता नहीं है तो we call it by names. And so many lifetimes, God knows what all we've been
Yeah,
through.
how beautiful. It borders around the fact that you reach that divine through your art.
Yes, that's true.
And you try every day to reach closer
Yes,
and
yes.
closer.
Yeah,
And on stage also we could see that
Thank you.
that energy was there. And then
thank you.
does it take you over when you do the swirling? Is it like it becomes a certain energy that
Yeah,
comes to you?
definitely, because it uplifts you, and it's like how you sit in that giant wheel or Harris wheel,
Yeah.
and how it goes like this and you go like this, and you see everything's just revolving around you. I was also saying that how on potter's wheel, if you see, there are these ripples.
Yeah.
So any kind of floor, whatever patterns there, those lines start becoming.
Forming.
Yeah, and that's when you feel you're getting centered. And it's the healing that happens on a subconscious level, which we are not aware of. And this is the meditation that was actually started by Jalaluddin Rumi. So as a child, we used to do that kikiri,
Yeah.
just
Ugdi बोलते हैं
हाँ,
गुजरात. हाँ.
revolve
Yeah.
around, and But that time you're not aware. When you do it consciously, because there's a whole thing about it that you're on the axis. So basically
Actually,
yeah, so one foot is like
on the ground.
just on ground, and you're just that's at one spot. You're just tapping with that, like tapping or just
Yeah.
stepping, and the other one moves
moving.
around it. So mine is still a diluted one, but if you go to Turkey,
Yeah, the
they tell
dervishes.
you that how there's a peg which is put with like
Between
in
your-
between your toe and the other finger and the other toe, and then you whirl on that. So those dervishes, if you go and see a show, like they are in trance, I think, from the first minute
My
they
God.
get into that. And there's a whole story about it actually, so it would take long if I'll talk about
But
it.
it's amazing that you bring out, we're talking about pottery, we're talking about music, we're talking about philosophy, we're talking about
Yeah.
color, clothing, and it all comes together
Yeah.
with the spectacle
Yeah,
on
it's
stage.
the closest. And I actually learned pottery first by hand 2 years back. Then last year I did a course in like especially to work on wheel. Then I bought my own wheel, and so I started doing the centering. And how difficult is that?
Oh yes, I've
To
tried
do
it
it. So
and
I
I've been a
could make
disaster.
some 6 pieces with the help of my teacher Rekha in
Okay.
Mumbai, and there are a few cracks also in between. I learned glazing and all, but I have to practice, and then there was a long gap. I have to again get back to it. And while I was doing that, and I saw how amazing it is, and then you realize that potter, what a big thing, what a life they must be leading, because they are seeing the life so closely. वो जैसे है ना कि माटी कहे कुम्हार से तू क्या रोंदे हुए,
हाँ.
एक दिन ऐसा आएगा मैं रोंदूंगी तो है, because we all become that dust, that soil.
Oh my God.
We just merge into it.
And you let him mold you.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. The moment you realize that, even for a moment, you just want to forgive and forget everything, because there's no time to be mean or to hate somebody or to be rude to somebody.
There's so much to
Yeah,
do.
because you're going to become that soil. हम कुछ तो रहने नहीं वाले हैं,
Lovely. What a
So-
beautiful, I mean, the way you philosophize, the way you also look at it, also reflects in what you sing. So it's all a
Yeah,
continued.
exactly. It all affects, or it all, becomes part of me and part of my singing.
Yeah,
And I think it heals me, and that's why it heals others as well.
it does. I was going to say that because it's almost like a massage to your inner self
Yeah, it
when you
is.
actually talk. But there's also a lot of sensuality in it.
Oh, yes. I think that's about the personality
Yeah,
or the person you are.
yeah,
So, obviously, we are human beings.
yes,
So, you have all those emotions.
yeah,
So, when I'm singing, like what I've been realizing over the years about
Yeah.
my singing, that it comes so easily
yeah,
that I'm singing, going in that trance. In between, there are moments of that, and the moment the song finishes, I can't even open my eyes. Today I felt like I was so intoxicated. It's been happening quite a lot, and also because I'm not getting enough sleep, and also the energy of people.
the love.
It multiplies that love. It just uplifts you, and so I feel collectively we experience those moments. Some people are aware of it, some people are not, but everyone's feeling that energy.
Yeah.
And when that happens,
And you're harnessing it.
yeah, so I become instrumental
yeah,
in that,
yeah.
but we collectively go, on that
Together.
high, and that's a very big thing.
But I find music magical then. It is
Yeah,
such
it
a
is.
it is such a blessing to be able to sing.
Yes.
And it's such a it's chosen. It chooses
Yes,
you.
yes.
And
that's
it
true.
chooses you in different degrees of your evolution. And
Yeah, it's a divine grace, I would say, and we are blessed that we are chosen one, and that's why a constant work on yourself, I feel, and that's what I've learned in Sufism, or when I did these courses at Osho Commune, and
Yeah.
then in 20 years I think I got ready. हम कहते हैं पात्र आपका पात्रता to receive also.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
grace keeps coming, but so many times we are not alert to even receive it.
yeah.
We don't even accept it,
right.
because I at least start finding my faults, and I say, oh no, I could have done better. But now, of late, for last 2 years, this is what I've been learning, because I did a course on Hazrat Inayat Khan's teachings of Hazrat Inayat Khan, because he was a musician himself, and
So the
we
Maharaj,
did this
he was in
online
Baroda.
course. Yes.
His daughter Noor Inayat Khan.
Yes, Noor
Oh my
Inayat
God,
Khan.
her
So
book,
that's what I've learned in these 2 years, to uh, let go of those judgmental, things about yourself also. And that's another leg of
Oh my
my
God.
journey that's happening
You
now.
can keep talking about it. I can just listen to you.
Yeah, so my next this thing is that I worked on Drupad's from his book Minkhari Musikar, and I started singing in the Samaz
Okay.
and attunement that we did for our course, and also some verses of his in English from his books Gayan, Vadan, Nirtan.
Okay.
I started composing those, and I realized I chose the verse which becomes my message.
Oh,
And
so
I got my messages through those verses, and those become like, prayer to me,
guides
and guide, yeah,
towards-
tools to deal with it. And I keep uh, drowning in between, and I keep getting out
Can you
of
sing
it.
2 lines out of it?
I will, for sure. I would love to sing, which I pray also, and I do like, Beloved Lord, Almighty God, through the rays of the sun, through the waves of the air, through the all-pervading life and space, purify and revivify me, and I pray, heal our bodies, hearts and souls. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. So Ishq Allah, love is God. Mabud Allah, God is love. Let your might strengthen me, your light inspire me, and let your soul and let your love move my soul to the ultimate joy. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah.
Oh, beautiful. And it's so deep. It just goes into your soul.
Yeah.
Completely. Okay. And then after all this, and after the fact that Sufism is a part of your life, and then Hindi cinema.
Hindi cinema, yes. So yeah, we just came here. So I was saying, so I go in that trance, I come back,
Yeah.
and then I'm not able to open my eyes, and suddenly I say,
Yeah.
okay, namak, namak, namak. Okay. मैं चांद निकल गई. Oh, gee, man. Then this quirky and that naughty person
Yes.
in me.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to say also, that it's the attitude,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
So Sufism becomes a way of life. For me, it's, otherwise you can say, oh, this is a Sufi mic, this is a Sufi phone, this is a Sufi bangle, this is a Sufi ring, and which is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's
your-
nothing of that
yeah,
sort.
Yeah.
It's the attitude.
Yeah.
Then
true.
you feel it. Like, I cannot fake.
Yeah.
So if I
Yeah.
like, it's on my face. If
you
I'm
dislike-
enjoying, you will be enjoying my songs. If
Yeah.
I don't, even a child would know that I
Yeah.
sang it out of,
Yeah.
my
Some-
heart was not there.
Not there.
So, or you become so connected with yourself and with your music by doing riyaz and
Yeah.
by this constant work on yourself as
Yeah.
a human being, that you psych yourself in between, and then you get into that zone.
Amazing.
And that's where I think the whirling helps.
Yeah.
to connect
Yeah, and you
with
will,
yourself.
and you're choosy about the words that you will sing.
More than that, I would say like the song comes to me.
Only the ones which are worthy
Yeah,
of
so which
what
are
you will
worthy,
sing.
and I think rarely I've turned down like
Hmm.
2-3 songs, but those must be the songs that were from very young music composer, or who would think that I can do. Otherwise,
Yeah.
recently I sang a song and it was so interesting. It was like something. Um, it was for a OTT film about. Tari, tarara, tara, and this was all funny, Jabare Piya.
Acha.
And in that, like, there are all quirky things about
Okay.
the husband and the wife and the relationship. And I enjoyed singing that so
Yeah.
much. I just feel if there are aesthetics,
Yes.
so
And there's
then I
respect.
enjoy singing even the item song.
Yeah, of
It
course.
shouldn't be vulgar. That's
Yeah.
all. I have no like.
It's the attitude, is what
Yeah,
you say.
it's the attitude. Like when I listen to Begum Akhtar Sahiba,
Yeah.
I never like to imitate her. If I sing her tumri, I try to make it my
Your own.
because I feel hers is not a singing to imitate. It was her attitude. If you see her pictures
Her
or
presence.
her videos, the way she sits, the way she look at, her people, and she had that command.
Charisma.
Or any other, singer, tumri singer,
Yeah.
Girja Devi ji or Shobha Gottu. So that way, like it's the attitude I feel
Yeah.
that makes you
Who you are.
and you don't try to do it like because
Because
this
somebody
is in
else has
vogue.
done it.
Yeah, somebody else has done it, and this is in vogue. Let me do this.
Yeah.
No, this is what
You'll
I'm
make it
good
your
at.
own.
Yeah,
You'll have your own tadka to it because it's
exactly.
it comes from you.
Yeah,
And that's unadulterated.
yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Also, Gulzar Saab has been such an important part of
Oh
your life.
yes.
He is a father figure. He's someone who's, you are in constant dialogue
Mentor.
with. And about his films, about him.
Yeah.
He's a legend. He's like a precious jewel that we have in the.
Actually,
So
I feel like he's taken birth to waken us up.
he's one of the gurus.
Wake us up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a guru.
क्योंकि वो उनसे like we just feel कि if he was not in our life or he's not in our life, then I mean it's just unimaginable. Like I feel कि वो हम भी कहीं खला में भटक ही रहे होते
हाँ.
या हम पता नहीं क्या होते. We just cannot imagine, Vishal and me, and now Asman is also in that.
Zone,
So
yeah.
I cannot think because उनसे जो उनका एक ऐसे हाथ आता है and when he gives you like patience, बच्चों
Yeah,
patience,
yeah.
That's when you feel. So it's the quality and not the quantity.
Right.
It's very subjective.
Absolutely. And you've always maintained that, and so has Vishal.
Yes.
And two creative people in the house.
Now three.
Three, with your son as well. But,
Yeah.
Tell me about the film. The response to Kutte. What is
So
the theme?
Asman has got very good reviews, and that's what matters the most. That everyone's praised him for his craft, for his storytelling, and we had prepared him that your craft should be good. And Vishal was very happy seeing the first cut also, and saying that you know the craft, and that was most relieving. We've always taught him and never encouraged him for any mediocrity. So we say, so he also feels that his answerability is to Vishal and Guldar Saab when it comes to film, when it comes to music or sensibility, yes, to all three of us.
Yes.
And that's what matters the most. Now, whatever happens to the film
Yes,
at box
yes.
office is something we are not
Yes.
bothered about, in the sense we are relieved that he will get work
Yeah.
and he'll survive well.
Okay. And tell me about Vishalji and you. Two creative people in the house. He's also been a music composer as well as a filmmaker. Now, when it is about your music, what is his input, and is there any favorite song of yours that he likes the most? So we'd like to know.
So Vishal actually has heard me the most doing my riyaz. So I think he's taken out the best out of me.
Yeah.
So every time he has pushed me beyond my limits, and he keeps doing it. recently I sang a ghazal for his film Khufiya, and so sometimes it's also like घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर. So he would say I'm very busy, तो चलते फिरते he'll teach me the song, and then he'll say आज ये कर दो, आज इतना कर दो, आज उतना, and then he would say थोड़ा और अच्छा हो सकता है. तो I said, but then for that I need to dub the whole song together, and then we did this ghazal because just for the shoot it had to be dubbed, you know, in parts. And now we dubbed the whole thing, and I was very scared. I feel very scared of Vishal even now because I feel there's a lot to prove.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it, but because he's my husband, so I know his, with like from his expressions, how is he feeling, and that really bothers me. When I realize that it's not happening, and even I understand when it happens, even there's a click inside that it's done. So I also say from my side it's good, and it comes mutually. He says, oh wow. And then he starts improvising. He says, can you try this, do that. And so
must be a great creative process.
yeah, so that's interesting, but to bring him to that level you have to really work hard and do it. When I do it for others, I also go fully prepared. So it's not just that घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर in my case, but in his case also I feel घर का ही तो गाना है, अच्छा हो जाएगा. But when I go outside, I also go fully prepared. So वहाँ पे input अलग होता है, एक अलग ऑ में भी होते हैं, और जो established composers हैं उनका experience अलग है. How to again extract out of me कि when it was कबीरा और या घाघरा भी था, तो I told Pritam that I really, you know, feel I cannot sing this song, and he said only you can, because on Madhuri Dixit your voice will go. We want that dignity, that maturity in the voice, which comes, you know, with you. And when I sang Ek Ghadi, so I was like, I was not getting this particular thing on time, and I told Shankar that it's not coming, वो सम आ नहीं रहा. तो he said आप गाओ. So he made me sing 2-3 times without any break कि बस आप गाओ. I think I must have dubbed for 1 hour continuously, तो without a break गाया. And then he said track is on, आप गाओ. 2-3 बार गाया, and then he said बस एक बार आप वो वाली जगह ले लो. That's what we did, and then he said now you can go. I said are you sure it's done? Yes. And then वो edit होके जब गाना आया, so it became what it became. And so that's what I'm saying, that music director has that
he can has an eye.
हाँ, उनको वो खासियत है उनकी, and that's why they are composer.
Right.
That they know how
they can
to,
see what you don't see,
and they can imagine so much, which is beyond us.
Amazing. And what is your favorite Vishal Bharadwaj film?
Actually, I love all the films for different
Anything
reasons.
Specific?
Blue Umbrella I love a lot because of the beauty of nature that's there, the innocence of childhood, and such a beautiful story. It's very poetic, and in we made that film in such difficult situation. So those memories also come, and every film I love. His trilogy, Omkara, Haider, I feel like he started with Maqbool, and then till Haider I feel, because he also matured so much, that Haider is such a complete film. And there are so many emotions that have come from his life, from our life. So like the young Shahid Kapoor getting into bed with his parents and all that comes from Asman doing that. And the scene when he comes back after the house is burnt and all, and he's trying to find
his
bat or something, a shoe, that comes from another, incident of Vishal's life and all that. So those are like, I felt like it was so beautifully done. His dialogues are so good because of his language that he's grown up with, the atmosphere he's witnessed being in Meerut, because of having close friends, Muslim friends, and Hindi because of Hindi literature. So वो मिलकर जब वो हिंदवी है, so I feel North से वो हमें language इतनी अच्छी मिलती है, and that adds a different flavor to your work.
And Shakespeare को इस तरह से expect ही नहीं करते हो, and
Yeah.
suddenly you see, okay, all these three are like in a Indian rural
Yeah.
setting. Even Matru Ki Bijli Ka Mandola. There are so
Exactly.
many films which are literally
Yeah,
from
and
literature.
yeah, he
defined.
does a lot of research also. He's a purist that way.
Yeah, that's amazing to see. Okay, one question about Dubai I'll ask you. Tell me about Dubai audiences and what do you see and unique about this city?
They are so receptive. They are so receptive. The way they react to everything, the poetry, whatever I was speaking. Wow, the way they received and appreciated, because that's what I feel it's becoming goal of my life, that I share my journey. So, and I don't feel ashamed to share it, whether it's good, it's bad, whatever I'm going through, because that's what comes into my music. And I feel if I can do it, others can do it as well. So there's so much hatred, so much negativity around us, that it just comes automatically, and it happens when there are people who, yeah, so that vibe just happens, that energy comes, and I cannot, like, stop myself. Like today I spoke a lot, and I thought when people hear that Sufiana evening of Sufiana Nagme and all that, I'm very sure that I'll be asked to sing Namak Ishka Amri Tariya Milia. Like they will,
Yeah.
because that's part of my singing, that's how they've known me.
Right.
But I feel blessed that because of film songs,
Yeah.
I'm able to sing Eri Sakhi in my own, rang also. That's the
Right.
liberty I get,
Yeah.
and that's the love I get from them, and I think I command that. And I feel for that I feel blessed, because that's a divine grace.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen because it just,
You had a playlist
yeah,
and
and
went by it.
yeah, so, and that's how it happens in the sense, because I feel when I'm working on myself, so he has his own ways of compensating for the pain you go through, compensating and making things happen for you.
Amazing.
It cannot happen if
His grace is not
yeah, then I'll have to just sing for myself, which will happen someday, I'm sure. But till then, like, it's so
Absolutely
lovely to
wonderful.
share.
Yes,
your
it's
music.
wonderful talking to you. I think this can go on and on, but I think
Yes,
there are
it
people
can.
waiting, so I have to cut it right now. But it's an amazing
Thank you.
conversation
Pleasure.
which has just started. I think I'm going to WhatsApp you a lot.
Yes, we'll do
We
that
will.
for sure.
And thank you very much for speaking to me.
Thank